So today we're going to talk a little bit about aura layers. You mentioned, Jole, you want to talk about that and pulling pictures from
Yes.
aura layers in it.
You know, it's very simple when you think about it, and it makes a tremendous amount of sense. But what happens is, let's start from the beginning. I was taught that when we are born, before we get here, we have things that we want to accomplish while we're here, what we want to learn, also our purpose. So what we do is your chakras are like luggage. And when you get here, they get unpacked at certain phases of your life. Chakra in Sanskrit is a spinning wheel. Now, these wheels of energy, the luggage, what you're here to do, they integrate with certain principles that are laws within the chakras. This wheel spins out and it creates what is known as an aura layer. Number one spins from the first chakra, and it is the closest to the body. So as a medical intuitive, I know if you have a virus because this aura layer will vibrate. Sometimes it'll be bumpy, you know, and so you'll know what physical ailments are going on with somebody from their first aura layer, right? So we're dealing with the body. You go up into the second, this one spins out, right? And layer by layer. And what we do is when we have patterns in the chakras, such as fear, guilt, shame, what we do is we have these experiences in lives, this life, also past lives, because we have not resolved these patterns. So this pattern is in the chakras, and then these experiences now, teachable moments happen. And if we don't deal with them, they turn into pictures. These pictures are held in the aura layers, and then they become triggers. We have these pictures that are causing jealousy, low self-esteem, but that is the pattern within the chakra. But you see, once you start with that pattern, now you're creating this dense pictures, experiences, and they're being held in your aura layer. So now you're triggered and you're hiding, and opportunities come, you can't take advantage of them, you're self-sabotaging. This is where the change happens, right? So you want to dig into the chakra, remove the pattern, and then pop out those pictures, because the pictures are what is causing the self-sabotaging. It's like a reverberation of the pattern. That's the way that I would say it.
Sorry, it's like a repeat thing then. So every time a trigger event happens, that kind of picture kind of like that repeats itself again, and off you go.
Lights up. And then sometimes, just like when you send pictures to people, right? And if you have an iPhone, they're loaded behind each other. And then they're kind of hanging out on the side, but they look like they're layered, correct? So as a medical intuitive, I can see these layers of pictures in the aura, because that pattern, that first picture, now you have another experience, you did the same thing, you did the same thing, you did the same thing, you did the same thing.
Oh, wow.
And then you might even have past life experiences of this loaded up, right? So of course you're going to experience trauma.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it is that when you begin to work with these patterns in the chakras and you deal with the aura layers, you can pop out these pictures. You can drain them of their charges, the trigger, right? And now you have the lesson. You have a bad temper. You have a tendency, not you, the proverbial you. We have a bad temper, and we really are ruining our relationships because of it. So we can sit down and remove that pattern of anger from maybe the heart chakra, wherever, you know, within the body, the thighs, the arms. And then we get into the aura layer and the pictures. And we start to pull those out. All of the times that you're driving, right? And you remember, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that to my friend Bob. You know, that's a picture.
Yes.
You know, how do you stop thinking about that? How do you move past that? And you know, there's some things in your life, things that you've done wrong that you can't remember, because, or if you do remember them, it's a flash and it's gone, because you know why? You closed the door on that situation. You did what you had to do. You know, you apologized, you made amends, you had some type of consequence for what you did, and was able to shut the door on that experience. But when we are able to pull these pictures out of our aura layer, it allows us to begin to close the door on these experiences. Instead of maybe having to relive it, pull the scab off the wound, this is a way we can resolve and dissolve some of our past baggage.
Yeah, yeah, because that's my understanding again. You know, we come here to learn life lessons, and ultimately you have to continue to repeat the life lesson until you actually manage to conquer it. Because you set this target for yourself when you came here, but you're not released from it until you've actually worked your way through it and past it.
Yeah. Think about a picture, and I also see sometimes they have roots, right? And they're moving that electricity right into the body, certain places within the body. They're attached to the heart, they're attached to the thighs, especially that childhood trauma, you know, or the hips, the low back. Those are huge issues, especially for women, in the hips and the thighs and the stomach. It's because of the bottlenecking of energy in the area of manifestation, of the doing, right? So it's like a lot of the feminine power can be more engaged when a woman takes control, you know, and I don't mean control as in being controlling. There's a difference, but taking responsibility, accountability, and control over what the life looks like. And this goes from the female energy. I know I'm using women, but all of us are being conditioned and programmed in a certain way. So because of that, we're all kind of moving into our power more and more. I want to say it in a positive way. So when we are dealing with these parts of the bodies, it is best to really take the time to become conscious. You know, you're holding weight here, and a lot of us just, or you're holding pain. Why? Why are you holding that pain? Who are you being, right? What are you slowing down to take time to try and understand what that part of your body is communicating to you? Because guess what? It's a pattern and a picture screaming to be dealt with. Let's go to the ancestral part of that, because that's something that we can't control. It's just something that is inherited. Nevertheless, it could be a family line issue. There's layers to this, right? There's not only the individual, but we've got to work with that DNA. We are tasked with breaking those ancestral curses. And one of the ways to do that is, you know, your father might have been angry because his father was angry, because his father was angry. They had reasons to be angry.
Yes.
Maybe. You see what I mean? What are those reasons? Grapple with that. Why are you angry? What are your triggers? These things are so important because the chakra work is just at its basic. If you spot it, you got it, and then you can get rid of it. But if you don't pay attention to it, if you keep ignoring it, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to deal with that, yeah, and you don't take it in, picture after picture after picture, and then you're like, oh, that person's a narcissist,
right?
You know, like, let's have some compassion. We all have that. We've all been programmed and conditioned to be codependent and narcissist. Let's just have a moment of like ownership and responsibility. And I that's what I believe that working with our aura layers and chakras gives us, is we can begin to own our self-sabotaging behaviors and have the tools to stop it and move into something new and improve.
Yes, we don't want to be accumulating too many of those photo albums of the same
yes,
time and
those
again.
Toxic ones. But there is, it's just, I mean, I want to reiterate again that it's simple. You say, you know what, I have a problem with anger. I need help. Why am I angry? You know what, I got really scared when she said that to me, and I felt my heart chakra squeeze, and I felt like I needed to defend myself. Why is that? You know, you dig. Most people, man, you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? That's like taboo, because it's going to take you to an emotional place you don't want to go. But this is the step-by-step process of how to move through your emotions.
That's fascinating. So when, having identified the pictures, you pull them, you tend to like pull them out and drain them.
Yes. So when you're doing the chakra work, and we're just going to go through the basics again, you ground 6 inches in diameter, grounding cord rooted into Mother Earth, clean it off, golden light, pulling in your aura, 1.5 feet, higher self above you, astral body snapped in, center of your head clean. Now you're ready to run energy, clean out the chakras. When you begin this process, what happens is that essence of the 85 and 15 moves into that aura layer, and it starts to light up the things that do not match with it, because that's unconditional love, forgiveness, compassion. Right. So it's going to light up everything that's not matching it. Like ding, 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 move me out, move me out. And some things it can resolve and dissolve on its own because it's dusty. You've dealt with it, you've worked on it. So it's just residual. But other things require your attention. And that's when you dig into your imagination and you start to believe in what you see and listen to your intuition. So what that means is you'll see these pictures light up, and they might not make any sense to you. It doesn't matter. It's just, and some people don't see pictures. Some people see energy. Some people feel. Some people hear tingling, or high-pitched sounds, whatever it is that works with you. Some people, it's a nothingness. But just go through the exercise and decree all the pictures that are lighting up, pop outside my aura, line up in front of me, use your own language. You put roses beneath each one of them. You drain them of all their color into the rose. This is a visualization, very powerful. You move those roses out to the rose 5 feet outside your aura layer. Give it a push, blow it up. You put golden suns above each one of these pictures. You bring it down. What does that do? Now, all of the positives have been solidified into that. And behind your neck, near the limbic system, right at the base of the spine, is a memory bank. And for me, I imagine a big file cabinet. It just pulls out the back of my neck. And these pictures are stored in my memory bank. And now I take the lesson. So the next time I come up upon a situation where I might feel that, I'm able to breathe and use my tools, use my words, because now my trigger. Now it takes time, it takes practice. Do you think if you take out one picture that's been sitting in there for generations, that immediately it's going to happen? It takes time, it takes practice. But see, now the universe is poised to support you because you've done your work. So now maybe you're not going to attract in those types of situations. And if you do, they're few and far between. So that's what we're trying to do. It's not as if these things aren't going to happen. It's that maybe you have changed to where they don't happen as frequently. They're not happening with the new people in your life. Maybe, you're creating new experiences now.
This is one of the biggest challenges for us left-brainers, because left-brainers don't want to go to the imagination. They don't want to go to the inner child because they're being told, no, it's logic, it's numbers, it's stuff that you can logically compute in a westernized, programmed and conditioned world. And that is one of the things that I had to break down and break through once I started on that path, and actually feeling the way my body reacted. Once I started to actually believe it, I thought, wow, where did that come from? And then that opens you up to more.
I agree. It happens for all of us, I think it becomes a critical mass of things, and then you realize that something else is deeper than me going to a doctor to fix whatever's going on with me. That deep inside of you, something feels like I have this pain, but I know it's deeper. I feel this depression and anxiety, but there's something deeper. I know there's something deeper. And so once you dig into your chakras and you start to focus and work on that, you can start to see the magic of quantum mechanics, quantum physics, in the sense that thoughts become things. And once you start observing and paying attention to the light, it begins to change. So that's science in and of itself. And most of the time we've been cut off at the knees from knowing who we are. If people knew that they had the power to work with their own energy, I think most of us would. We get it. I mean, we know who Bruce Lee is, right? We know who some of these shamans and wizards we've seen.
Yes.
But how do they do that? And this is sort of the beginning. It's much deeper, of course, but at least this can be a way that we can begin to take responsibility and solve our own problems.